Hey, I'm back. I'm Dean. This is the Q&A episode. Let's jump in. Nope, I work for software companies. For the last 10 or 12 years, I've worked pretty much exclusively in the cable industry, but I've never worked for a cable company, just software companies that sell to cable companies. Great question. 99% of the time, it just means that the contract between the cable company and the content provider, called a programmer usually in TV lingo, the contract expired, and before it expired, they were unable to come to terms about what that content, what those channels should cost. This usually always means that the programmer wants more money. And this is the sort of the ironic part. If you see a TV commercial or sort of like, some text on your screen and it says, hey, call your cable company and tell them that you want this channel. What they're actually saying is, hey, we, the content provider, want you, the consumer, to pay more money to us via the cable company so that we'll get more money and you'll get a higher cable bill. But they never seem to mention that in their commercials, do they? Yeah, several of the largest cable companies have moved into the mobile phone business as MVNOs, what's called MVNOs, which is really just a way of saying a reseller of mobile phone service. It's always on someone else's network, Verizon's or Sprint's or someone. The idea behind this is that as the TV business and the landline business sort of fade away, they want to be able to offer new services and new lines of revenue, of course, new sources of revenue to their existing customer base. But there's also kind of an engineering reason behind it as well. I'll give you an example. If I call my parents on their landline, they still have a landline. When I call my parents on their landline from my mobile phone, the only mobile part of that transaction is from my phone to whatever the nearest tower is. After that, from the tower onwards, the tower just sends it down a wire to poles or underground through the public switching network and telephone network and out to whatever the terminating endpoint is for that call, which would be my parents' place. Now, the cable companies already own a lot of those wires, and especially for data and stuff, the mobile phone companies pay the cable companies to carry that traffic for them because they can't be everywhere, and the cable companies already have a lot of wire buried in the ground, as you know. So the cable companies look at this and they say, well, we need new lines of business, and we already own a lot of the call path. So why don't we just go ahead and move out to the last little bit of a call path, which is the mobile part? So mobile phone business. What is net neutrality? Ooh, okay. If you think that future innovations are going to come from entrepreneurs and small companies and lots of little business failures and stuff, but overall, that's where innovation comes from, then you are pro net neutrality. If you think that all the new innovations, the Facebooks of tomorrow, or Googles of tomorrow, are going to come from a handful of large network operators like cable companies and phone companies, you are anti-net neutrality. Not that it matters much anymore, at least not in the United States. Net neutrality is basically dead. Yeah, it'll get better. The network gets more and more complex, but as they move into using AI to handle sort of the machine-y stuff and let people deal with just the people kind of stuff, then yeah, it'll get better. It's just going to take a little while. For a very long time, it was Spectrum, which is now the second largest cable company in the United States, formerly Time Warner Cable and Charter and Bright House. And about 2 years ago, a smaller company, the 15th largest, I think at this point they're the 15th largest cable company in the United States, a company called Northpoint, located really close to me actually. Their headquarters is only about 10 miles from my house. They laid fiber optic along my street, I think to get to a big construction project that's happening a little bit further on from my neighborhood. And they offered everyone on my street fiber optic speeds, about 3 times the public speed of what I was getting from Spectrum for a little bit less money. And, just for novelty, I decided to switch to them. Spectrum service was flawless. New service from North State, flawless. Don't really think about it except once a month when the bill arrives. So that's my cable company. I have no relationship with them other than they're my broadband provider. No, not at all. No, definitely not. The margins, the profit margin on broadband has pretty much always been better than it is on TV. So as TV sort of falls away and the less profitable TV consumers fall away, people are still buying broadband. They're upgrading their plans. A lot of cord cutters, boost their speeds actually when they decide to cut cable TV service and move to whatever they're going to use for a streaming service. And the most of the profit from cable companies for a while now has come from the broadband side of the business and not the TV side of the business. To the point where, and I am 1,000% confident of this, if suddenly the law changed and a cable company could only sell you broadband or TV but not both, they would all choose to be in the broadband business and not the TV business. They would make that choice every day of the week, twice on Sunday, no question. No, they're not really, they're not shrinking because the cable TV business is going away, at least not from a money and profit perspective. I'm assuming this question is asking whether people in cable companies are watching my videos, and the answer to this is yes, and I know for two reasons. One, I travel to these companies a lot, but I also know because LinkedIn provides some pretty simple analytics. But one of the things it tells me, it doesn't tell me, for instance, that you're watching this video, but it does tell me the top 7 or 8 companies that are represented in that sort of audience. And the top 4 cable companies are virtually always in that list. The top cable company in Canada is usually in that list. And then normally that list is rounded out by people who work for the company that I work for now and the company that I left about a year and a half ago. Okay, that was it. Q&A, nice and short. Not all questions were answered. Sorry, some of them I just couldn't answer for confidentiality reasons. I've been in the cable industry a long time. I can't talk about everything that I know about the cable industry, but hopefully this was useful. That is a wrap on season 1 of Talk About Cable. Done, 10 episodes in the can. There will be a season 2. I still have more topics to go over, and in the meantime there will be some additional videos coming up from me, not for Talk About Cable, but talking about business topics that hopefully will be helpful to you. In the meantime, thank you for watching. This has been great. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for the connection requests. Thank you for sharing these videos and passing them along inside your organizations. That was a real treat. And that's it for me. Have a good day. Bye.